ahead and get started. Let me just mention a couple things for you, and then we'll introduce our guest speaker and get started. If anybody else comes in, we'll just have them sit in the back with me. Remember, this is a hybrid class, so each week the coaching education research report is released on Wednesday, and you review that and make your submission for your summary on the following Wednesday. Each one is a different report, which deals with some research and practical application with coaching. I think we've done 2 of them. I've graded through the first one, so now this weekend I'll grade through the second one. You should probably go look for that third one and begin reading that one. The weeks that we're off, every Friday, a new video is released on the coaching presentation, and then you are to watch that video and complete that summary quiz from that video instructional session. And that is due the following Friday. So last week, Coach Gooch spoke to us, and a couple of you might attend to that. That will remain open until midnight tonight. I think it's apropos that you're working on your observations. And remember that observation report, I've given you 10 weeks to put that together. You contact coaches in the area, you go and observe them and their practices and what they're doing. You make qualitative notes, and then you're going to prepare a summary report. You're actually going to come back and present that summary report, and each of you will have a presentation date scheduled for after fall break, so the last 4 weeks. We're doing that. You'll have that interview paper assignment to do as well, and a few more sporadic meetings in here with key and core coaches like our gentleman today, to hear firsthand knowledge and information from it. So that's the schedule. Make sure you attend to that. I'll try to send announcements at least once a week to try to keep you motivated, but always go back to that schedule. Coach Kelvin Long has come today. Coach Long is the head women's basketball coach, and he probably has lots of other roles and duties: discipler, mentor, father figure, husband, father himself. And so God has appointed him to lead our women's basketball program. I specifically asked him to come in today to talk to us about coaching women and females. And for those of you that have coached before, you might have coached your own personal gender, and sometimes crossing over has its challenges. And so I thought I would ask Coach Long to come in and talk to us about what he sees are the differences, what has he found to make him successful taking over a program and working with women at all different levels, and then some of the other things he does to prepare as a coach to be successful, as well as his spiritual faith integration. So we are recording today's session, so if you have questions, just signal him and then let him call on you so we can get those questions recorded for the benefit of those that aren't here as well as those in the future. Coach Long, if you'll open us up in prayer and then get us started, it's great.
Okay. Let's go to the throne of grace. Father, we thank you. Oh, man, you are so good. We thank you for this day. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Thank you for this opportunity to share. Thank you for this class. Thank you for these students, these your people. And Lord, I pray that you would just move. Help us to have a healthy conversation, a great conversation. And Lord, it's not just me speaking, but you through me, and get some dialogue going. So Father, we thank you now, and in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right. How y'all doing today? How we feeling? We good? Good? All right. See a couple football players, all the best this weekend. Baseball player, correct? Congratulations on a great season last year. Man, y'all killing it out there. And then Hope, she actually worked with our program my first 2 years, so awesome to see her. But what we'll get into today, we'll talk about coaching. We'll talk about coaching the female athlete, and then we'll talk a little bit about coaching just in general. I don't know if any of you guys want to be a coach or thinking about that track after you're done playing, after you're done with your degree. But coaching to me is a ministry. It's a great way to share my faith, share Jesus Christ. But make no mistake about it, I'm a competitor. So it's not just fun and games, and we're gonna share candy and tell stories. You know, we out there trying to win and trying to get better. So a little bit about my background. This is my 13th, 14th year as a college coach. I started my career as a graduate assistant at East Tennessee State. So my entire career has been at the Division I level, except for coming here as a head coach. So I was at East Tennessee State for 5 years. And my experience there actually spoiled me in winning. My first 3 years, we won the league. We won the regular season conference championship and the tournament, and we went to the NCAA tournament my first 3 years, so did a lot of winning there. Had a bunch of players get a lot of awards and accolades, and we had 2 players go WNBA training camp, so awesome experience. So I left there, spent the season at Kennesaw State, which is right outside of Atlanta, or Metro Atlanta. Stayed there for a year, just trying to help a program get started and build it up. But from there, I came to South Carolina, and I was at Charleston Southern for 2 years. Also a rebuild. So I was there for a couple seasons, and then I actually didn't have to move. I actually started working at the College of Charleston, and I was there for 3 years. Downtown Charleston, if you know anything about it, great place, loved it. Absolutely beautiful place. And then the Lord called me here. Head coaching spot opened up, and this fit my personal profile. This fit what I wanted in a family atmosphere, and it's been great since. So I'm going into my 3rd season, and a little bit about how we've kind of built the program. Before I got here, we were 8-21. My first year with the same players, 13 and 14, so 1 game below 500. First year, didn't really have a recruiting class. My 2nd year, which was last year, we were 8-7 going into the conference tournament. So first winning season in 9-10 years. And now I'm on year 3. So the way that we've done it is through relationships, culture and relationships. I'm a relationships coach. Culture is everything. How you do anything is how you do everything. I really believe that. And I think sometimes, you gotta have players. And we've got good players, and we're gonna recruit good players, and some of you guys are good players in here. But I also think that if you do things the right way, and if you have a way that you do things, you heard about the Carolina way, the Butler way. Right now, Alabama is rolling in football by the way they do things, and it's just how you go about your business. I think when you do those things, you could be highly successful, even if you don't have a ton of talented players. But that's how we built it here, relationships and culture. And we've got some really good kids. We're gonna be young this year, but I like the pieces that we have. And so just diving right into our topic today. And I think it's gender, I think it's just a broad stroke of both genders of how to coach female athletes, but coach male athletes. I think the first thing you gotta do is meet your student athletes where they are. I think you gotta understand where they're coming from. It takes a little bit of empathy, and it takes relationships, getting to know them. You can't coach anybody, male or female, before you know them. And I truly believe that. You gotta know them first before you can ask them to run through a wall for you, to make that extra tackle, to save a ball, diving over the stands to get a foul ball. Like, you gotta know them before they'll do anything for you. And I think with you guys' generation, you wanna know that people care about you before, they start barking orders at you. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna wanna do anything for somebody that, doesn't have your best interest at heart. So I think meeting them where they are, I think building a relationship with them, and it's more so for female athletes, they really wanna know that you care. Now, guys care, but guys are just naturally gonna be competitive. Women want to know, like, do you care about me outside of just being a ball player? So one of the things that we do, since I'm a relationship person, we do lunch dates with our players. So our coaching staff, we pick a different person every week and we go to lunch with them. And we try to spend as much time away from the gym in their area as much as possible. Sometimes we don't necessarily do class checks, but we'll walk with them from one class to the next. You know, just walking and talking, spending some time with them. I think that goes a long way. You're talking about other things outside of basketball, outside of working out, outside of sports. You know, you're asking them how their family is doing. You're trying to figure out where they are in their personal lives. And even with the whole mental health thing, that's a huge thing across all sports, everywhere. You know, that's a time to kind of get a pulse of where they are mentally. We have this thing too. It's a text message. It's a graphic, and it has different color hearts on it, and it has an explanation by each heart. And we send it out randomly to our kids just to check where their mental health is. You know, and it's an easy way, a very uninvasive way to check on them, see how they're doing, and they're more likely to reply to that than sometimes just a face-to-face meeting. So we do a lot of those different things, man, just trying to get into their lives, to get to know them, get to know who they are. Recruiting is obviously huge. You know, if you guys want to work at the college level, or you baseball player want to coach at the college level, obviously you're going to know that recruiting is super important. But in the recruiting process, we really try to vet heavily who we're recruiting. You know, it's about the people. I'm a people person. It's about the people. You know, it's not about the X's and O's. It's not about the slogans on your shirt. It's about the people, man. You know, you got to get the right people in there. So we spend a lot of time having conversations, FaceTime conversations, on the phone conversations. We don't really want to try to text as much. I know you guys like to text because that's your thing, and we'll meet you there. But we want to have like interactions. We want to try to get to feel your energy. I know that's a big word these days. Vibes and energy. We want to like get to know that. We want to see that and feel that in different ways. And then we get them on campus, man. And you guys already go here. You know, once you get them on campus, it's a beautiful place. Nice, quiet, serene, brick buildings, well manicured campus. So I think that helps. But man, that's the first thing that we try to do. We try to create relationships, and we try to spend time with them, and we meet them where they are. You know, I think with guys, so if you want to contrast that, you know, guys want to know that you care, but guys are just naturally going to be competitive, and they're naturally just going to want to, you know, be good. You know, so I think that's really the difference. So with them, it's not as much spending time with outside stuff, because they already know that you care because you're there. But now it comes to the technical piece. So they want you to work out with them. That's how they spend time with you, is workouts, doing different things like that. That's where you can really kind of set your mark and create that relationship. And the way that I best approach things from a coaching standpoint, we kind of already talked about it. People want to know that you care before they care what you know. Tweet that out. Put that on IG. All right? Kids want to know that you care before they care about what you know. And my first boss at East Tennessee State, that's the very first thing she taught me when getting in this profession. They got to know that you care. So we're going to care about them. We're going to know about their families. We're going to know about what's going on in their lives. And we're just going to care about them. So that's really a big approach that I take in terms of coaching, is just caring about our kids. And I tell them all the time, yeah, we want to win, we want to build, we want to do those different things, but we want to do it the right way, and we want to make sure you're okay while we're doing it. You know, no one wants to just be used as a player or as a tool to help the coach get somewhere. And my philosophy is, I want to do what's best for the kid, because here's the secret in coaching. If you do what they want to do, they're going to be more invested. That's a lot different than probably Dr. Briggs, the way he came up, even the way I came up, because I'm a little bit older than probably what you think. I'm not quite 40, but I'm not 30 either. You know what I'm saying? I'm in that mid game, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I think that makes a difference in how you approach it and what you do, man. And yeah, my first boss, she said you gotta care about the kids. You gotta do that, or it's just gonna be a wrap for you. So we'll do different things. Spending time with them. One of the things I like to do is when we first get to the semester, I bring all the kids to my house. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I've got 2 daughters of my own. I bring them to the house and we get mows. We set it up. Go on down the line, fix your food. We got games. This year I think we're gonna do Chipotle. We're gonna switch it up and do Chipotle. So still kind of the same thing, but we're gonna give them a little bit of a different flavor. But man, just I want them to see me as a husband. My wife and daughter, they're here now because we're at the volleyball game, and some of our kids are in and out. I want them to see me like with my 3-year-old, with my 15-year-old. You know what I'm saying? You guys are gonna be fathers. You're gonna be husbands. You're gonna be a wife. You know, and it's good to see those examples. It's good to see with your own eyes. You know how it's supposed to be. And like Dr. Briggs said, some of our kids come from single-parent homes or broken homes, and you know, I'm it, and I'm okay with that. I'm it, and because this is our ministry, this is me and my wife's ministry. She prays with our kids. They'll text her. I don't have to prompt them, or I don't have to prompt my wife. She'll be at practices. She'll be at games. She'll text them, and we're about that, man. We have a kid, an international kid, my first 2 years, and she had nobody, man. She had nobody. Her parents died when she was little. She's from over in Africa, Nigerian kid, and we were all she had. We're all that she still has now. She just accepted a job over in Hendersonville, so we'll be back and forth checking on her, making sure she's okay. I mean, this is truly a ministry for me and my wife, and I mean, God placed us here, and He's gonna provide. So you know, we waste no and spare no expense to try to help our kids. So I think that's what coaches are. Coaches are more than just X's and O's. We're firemen because we got to put out fires. You know, y'all get into stuff. Hello, y'all get into stuff. But you know, we're psychologists. You know, we're brothers. We're sisters if you're a female coach. Man, we're all these different things. So our scope, man, you got to be super skilled. You know, to be a coach. I mean, one thing I will tell you guys, if you ever want to get into coaching, one of the best things you could do is go get a sales job. Go get a sales job. So in college, I was a manager at Foot Locker Champs, and that you wouldn't believe how much it's helped in the coaching profession. I would highly suggest you guys go and that's why Enterprise, that's why they like athletes, because you guys know how to compete. Companies want to hire you guys because you have a set of skills that most students don't have. You know what I'm saying? So if you ever want to get into coaching, go get a sales job because it will help you. I actually almost got out of coaching a couple of years back. Northwestern Mutual, which is a financial advisory company, approached me about being on their team and being a seller for them and being a financial planner for them. And I almost took the job, but I didn't. But they approached me because of the skills you get in coaching, the things you develop in coaching. All right, so very rewarding profession. There's no time clock. If you ever want to punch a time clock, this ain't the job for you. All right, because your players are going to call you all times of the day. Parents are going to call you. AAU coaches are going to call you. Travel coaches, high school. You know, it just never stops. You know, you got to learn to put boundaries on different things. But it's not a 9-to-5 gig. So if you want that, this ain't it for you. All right. I'll stop here. Do you guys have any questions so far? I know you've been taking notes and kind of listening. What questions, if any, do you have? No?
Okay, Coach, let me just, you noted that if you do what they want you to do, did I hear that right?
Yep.
They are going to be more invested.
Yes.
Yeah, can you just, launch on that for a minute?
Yeah,
Really?
absolutely. So it's a crazy thing. Most coaches have been brought up to, it's my way or the highway, right? But y'all know, your generation didn't like that. It's not like that. You guys push the envelope, you ask questions, you wanna know. You have a level of involvement, and let's be honest, college campuses hear your voices. Okay, you guys got some of the loudest voices. Because if you guys aren't here, guess what? I'm not here, right? So what I like to do is, so I told you culture is a big thing for us. I let our kids set the culture. It's not Coach Long comes in and he has 11 different rules and we gotta follow the rules. I let them set what they wanna do, and all I do is hold them accountable for it. I think that's the best way. Look at it like this. The things that you guys create or help create, you're more invested in. So if you guys create the culture, if you guys create how we're gonna do things in such a way, you're gonna be more invested than Coach Long wants us to do it this way today. He wants us to do it like that. So we give our kids a lot of say. So the first thing we did in our team meeting, I gave our kids what our culture is. So we have a vision, we have core values, and we have standards of behaviors, right? Because everybody says they want to win championships. You guys win championships all the time in baseball. But how do you get there? What kind of behaviors do you have to get there? And I think people skip over that all the time, but I let our players set that. So they have a copy of what we did last year. Hey guys, how do you want to run it this year? So our team GPA, I don't set that. They set it at a 3.3. Guess what our team GPA was last year? A 3.3. My first year, 3.67. Right? So we got kids who were about it in the classroom. All right, and that helps me in recruiting. If we got a high standard in the classroom, we got to go get a high standard kind of kid to keep that. But I let them. We don't have a bunch of rules. We don't have rules at all. It's standards and expectations. Okay, and we've got 4 rules. And the golden rule is the adult rule. Do what you're supposed to be doing, when you're supposed to be doing it, how you're supposed to be doing it. All right, and it's not really a rule, it's just an expectation. And our kids set that. They do all of that. So they say what they want. I hear it, I record it, write it down and put it in our player notebook, and then I enforce it from there. So in practice, if it's the line and you don't touch it or you get close, all right, how do you want to win championships if you can't do what you said you want to do? Right? So part of that is my first year, I said when I got here, we were picked at the bottom, the very bottom. We finished kind of in the middle of the pack my first year. Last year, we finished to the mid to top. And then this year, the expectation, the kids said they want to be in the top 3. So if you see our women's basketball players walk around campus, and you'll know who they are, top 3. That's what y'all said, right? So y'all hold them accountable for that. But I let them set everything, and I just hold them accountable for it, Dr. Briggs.
And I just want to reinforce that participation style of coaching does not sacrifice the way you coach or what you want to get done or your objectives. You're still going to coach with extreme measures and use consequences and a variety of things. You're just allowing them to participate. So in the theoretical literature, we call that participative coaching style. And it sounds like, and again, that's very relational, helps you build relationship, helps you build trust. And correct me if I'm wrong, that works really well with college students.
Absolutely.
It may not work well with 5-year-old peewee.
You got to know your audience.
So again, it's
Absolutely.
the marketplace, who's your target market, yeah, but that works really well here.
Yeah.
And they have buy-in, so they have ownership, and the more they have buy-in and ownership, they're gonna give you their all, and so you've seen that using this style of coaching.
Yeah, and you touched on it, ownership and the buy-in. That's so huge, and you guys know that from being on teams, whether you're a student athlete or whatever, just the buy-in. So now we take it a step further, Dr. Briggs. It's not only the buy-in, but the stay-in. Because you could be bought in on the front end, but the stay-in to finish the job all the way through. So we try to take it a step further. But yeah, so that's the biggest thing we talk about is taking ownership of the team. And I tell the team all the time, we have a Ferrari, right? We have a nice sports car. or it could be a Bentley, Rolls Royce, whatever you wanna call it. I'm just a guide. I don't drive the car, y'all drive the car. So I wanna toss you the keys and let you drive. I'm just gonna sit in the passenger seat just so you don't wreck it. That's how we run our program. That's what my coaching style is. I want our program to be player led. I want them to be leading themselves, and then I just hold them accountable. You know, I want to give them a lot of freedom to be who they are. You guys want freedom, right? That's why you came to college. So mom and daddy won't be on you. Right? All right. So since you're gonna be young adults, let's start grooming you and treating you like young adults. You know, I don't want to tell you what to think. I don't want to tell you how to act. I want to give you some guidelines and like where you want to go. If you want to go here, this is what you got to do to get there. And that's on you to do it or don't do it. You know, so that's how we like to try to coach it. That's how we try to run our program, and we let the kids have a say. You're gonna go back and tell Landon or Coach Powell. Yeah. Hey man, we need to have more say. I already know how you gonna go tell Coach Farrington.
Oh, I ain't telling Coach Farrington.
But no, man, I think it's a different way of coaching. It's a different way of leading. But like Dr. Briggs said, I don't sacrifice my authority because I let the kids make decisions. Because we're in it together, right? It's not my team. It's really their team, and we're just doing it together. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, I got the final say. You know, bottom line, if anything happens, you know, they're coming for me. But, you know, as much as possible, I want to get what our kids think. When we're on the road traveling, what y'all want to eat? How y'all want to eat? Let them pick it. I don't lose anything for that. See? Yeah. How y'all wanna travel? Y'all get to pick what we wanna wear. You know, give them some ownership. Let them have their voices heard, right? Because that's really what's the mission of NGU? Creating transformational leaders, right? You can't be a transformational leader if somebody tell you what to think all the time or how to do things. You know, you got to start like thinking through things yourself. So we try to give our players as much as possible in that lane. You know, and if it's a no-go, then it's a no-go, and they try to figure it out another way. So we talked about coaching men and women, my best approach, how I learned it, told you from my first boss. In this whole coaching thing, you're gonna learn a lot, and then there's gonna be some places that you go where you're gonna learn what not to do. So when I was at Kennesaw State, I learned a lot of what not to do. All right, and I was only there for a season, and you know, I just had to move on because it didn't fit personally, my profile and what I wanted to do and how I wanted to lead. But you learn, there's some good places where you learn what to do, but you can learn a lot from what not to do. And then a question that I had coming my way is, what do I still have in front of me as a coach? So I'm going into year 3. So for us, NGU women's basketball, the next big thing is just to continue our culture. Typically, when you study culture, and I'm a big studier of that kind of thing, they say typically it takes 5 years for it to be set, like firm with your program. We're in year 3, so we're a little bit over halfway. I can start to see and hear some things that I didn't hear my first year, so it's starting to stick. But we just got to continue to grow in that area. We got to continue to grow in leadership. We got to continue to grow in finishing everything. That's one of the big things I like to press upon you in this generation. You guys gotta be finishers, man. You gotta be finishers. Whatever you start, you gotta finish it. Don't leave your work undone. Men, women, whoever it is, don't leave your work undone. You know, it's not done. You're not done when you're tired, you're done when you're done. All right, so take that with you this weekend. When you're trying to shed blocks, get him up off of you, you know. Make sure you get him down on the ground. Are you a pitcher or you an arm?
I'm an infielder.
Infielder?
Yeah.
It's not done until you get 3 outs.
Okay.
It's not done until the game is over with, you know. And I'm sure you guys got that culture anyway because you guys are big time winners. But what year are you?
I'm in 5th year.
5th year?
Kelvin.
So you're an older guy. right, so guess what your job is? You gotta teach the younger guys, this is how we do things. That's what I'm trying to get our players to understand, like, when you see different things from like younger players, and that's not in line with what you do, hey, we don't do that around here. That's not how we operate around here. You know, now you're teaching your 5th year, student, now you're teaching them how to lead, and now the cycle, whether it's you or whoever fills that spot in the infield or outfield, it's the same thing. I gotta finish. This is how we do things around here, and that's how you build culture, man. So just, we gotta continue our culture, just cementing it, getting it better. I'm gonna be honest with you, I have some lofty goals, for our women's basketball program. I have some real lofty goals. We wanna win championships, and I'm not afraid to say that. I'm not afraid to say that. Now, do we gotta keep getting better to get there? Sure we do. But I think we're on our way to really competing at the top of Conference Carolinas. That's our conference. So that's what's ahead of me. I'm still a relatively young head coach. My coaching career, I've been an assistant at the D1 level for 11, 12 years, and now my 3rd year as a head coach. So there's some things I still need to get better at. I still need to grow. I can't ask our players to grow and get better if I don't grow and get better. So that's what I do every offseason. You know, I'm gonna go to a ton of coaching clinics. I'm gonna find a book to read. I'm gonna find a new offense or a new defense or some out of bounds plays to help our team. So I want them to see that your coach is getting better. It's not gonna be the same soup reheated every year. We're gonna build and we're gonna do some things differently. And I'm asking you to do that, so I gotta do that being the leader of our program. What kind of questions y'all got? Hope, I know you got one question, because you're gonna be a coach.
I got one.
Okay.
When you came here for your first head coaching job, were you prepared? Like, were you ready to be a head coach?
Absolutely. So all my stops, so my background, being an assistant coach, recruiter, and then player development. But everywhere I've gone, so I don't wanna just be known as a recruiter, somebody that just goes and finds talent and brings it back. I knew I wanted to be a head coach from the first time I started. So everywhere I've gone, I'm asking to go to budget meetings with the AD, scheduling, doing different things other than just being labeled as a recruiter. Because if you get that, you're just gonna be put in a box and then that's all you can do. I wanted to know like how to do different things. I've been a coordinator either on offense or defense or special situations. I've done scouting, preparing for the other team. So I've done everything that you could do skill-wise. So when I took over the position, a lot of people say, man, when you're a first-time head coach, you're drinking out of a hose because you got things coming. Man, I was super prepared. I was never overwhelmed. I'm still not overwhelmed. Now, I get tired. You know, you get tired. But in terms of the position being too big or overwhelming, I've never felt that. Because I've just been prepared. And whatever small job, big job, medium job you get at your different places you're gonna coach, do those well, and your boss is gonna see that, and they're gonna give you more. They're gonna give you more responsibility, and that's how you grow and get better. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Coach, just staying focused on that. I remember when you first came here, I talked to you early on, and you told me that the last situation you came from, that coach in that situation really prepared you for this. So is it also accurate to say that the Lord used the last scenario to the last head coach or to some of the things you went through to groom you and mature you for this particular position?
Absolutely. So the College of Charleston was my last assistant job before I got here. And before I had gotten there, I hadn't done scheduling before. I hadn't taken player development as a complete whole. I had like 1 or 2 players or a position group, but just taking it as a whole. I didn't have that before. And then my boss, man, I worked for her, Candace Jackson. She's currently at Michigan State now. She gave me a lot of responsibility and a lot of freedom to just come in and be me. After she saw that I could do the work and that I was going to be successful, I mean, she just would give me things, I would ask for things every day out of the office, before she left the office. Hey, is there anything I can take off your plate? What can I do? What can I do? And, but, you know, before long, you know, she was letting me do a lot. My first job, East Tennessee State, my boss allowed me to do a lot. You know, let me call some stuff in the games. Hey, what do you wanna do right here? I think we should do this. You know, so after you've seen, or after your boss has seen that you can do some different things, you know, they're gonna lean on you a lot more. And that's what I wanted. Any other questions? Let's get some dialogue going.
Did you recognize like a big talent gap between D1 and D2?
Absolutely, there is. The athlete is just different.
Yeah.
The athlete is just different. So coaching is, you gotta learn to coach liabilities. So you gotta figure out what you can coach and what you can maybe teach or develop. And for us, we like skilled players. Now we'll throw some athletes in there. We've got some athletic kids, but in terms of what I like to do, what my preference is, I like skilled kids. So we can find those. And the talent level isn't as, I mean, it's a gap, but I think the way to close that gap, we gotta have them with a chip on their shoulder. And you know, NGU it's a unique place. It is, it's a good place, you know? But if you get kids with a chip on their shoulder and wanna work, that makes up over a career, 4-year career, you start to see them get better. I'll give you an example. We had a kid who was a freshman last year, everything in high school, but came here and wasn't as skilled as she needed to be, right? First few games, she didn't play. But she was a kid that wanted to work, so she got with myself, she got with our assistant coach, and every Tuesday, Thursday, 9 o'clock, she had a standing appointment. Player development, 30 minutes, 2 times a week, outside of practice. And guess what? She ended up being the 6th man for us towards the end of the season. So you gotta find those kind of players that, you know, they might not be able to run, jump, and do some different things, or their IQ might not be as high, but if they're willing to work at it, put the time in, those are the kind of kids that work best for me in our program.
That's great, so you just made me think of something, so recruits or walk-ons that come from smaller rural programs where they might be a big fish in a very small pond, and sometimes don't recognize that their skill level doesn't match maybe the collegiate environment, and so as you identified, they might arrive with over expectations for their playing time, the level of competition, the level of commitment, and those sort of things. Tell us how you work with those individuals who might come here and they have a framework of expectations which doesn't at all match up to the reality of the environment.
I think it's about the players that you already have. So when you've got really good players, and now we're starting to get, you're talking about, you asked the question about the talent level between D2 and Division I. We brought in a couple Division I transfers, and now we're starting to get kids that are fringe D1 kids, or maybe a little bit below, and they got a chink in their armor, you know, in some different places. But then when you get a local hometown hero, and you get them here, and they see the level of kind of kids you have, that's either gonna make them do one or two things. Either they got the chip on their shoulder, and they're gonna grind it out, and they're gonna work. If they're from a rural area, they already know about work anyway. That's gonna like motivate them to, all right, I gotta come in here and I gotta get my grind on. You know, I gotta pound the pavement. Or, you know, when they come here and see you in practice, they're like, yeah, this might not be for me. And we've had that. Now that we've raised the level of kind of kid that we have, we've had some kids that wanna come along and get with that, and some that, coach, I'm good.
That's why I asked the question, because I played at UCW and I really don't recognize that big of a talent gap from D1 to here.
You want me to tell you why your sport is really different, because you guys care about numbers and swings.
Right.
So it doesn't matter what level you go to, it matters the opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Because they can go from anywhere. They can go to the majors from anywhere. basketball and football is a little bit different. It's not like that. It's not a open opportunity in terms of like numbers and opportunity like that. So when you see like with you guys, I like watching you guys because when you guys get off the bus, people say, and I've heard this in the stands, man, they look different. They're different. Yeah, all you guys are transfers. You gonna look different. You know what I'm saying? When you get off the bus and you're just different, you know, going against a 5'10" scrawny kid from Greer, you know what I'm saying? It's different. It really is. And that's why the arm is swifter. They throw it harder. They hit it harder. You know, a couple years ago, didn't we have the first baseman from Georgia?
Yeah.
He's different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, in the recruiting process, when you get kids to come on campus and they see kind of what you're doing, you know, it's one or two things. They're gonna either raise up or, you know, they're gonna want to play Bob Jones. And there's nothing wrong with playing Bob Jones. You know? So, that's it. Any other questions? Those are some good questions. Football, y'all got anything for me?
I got something.
Okay.
So I want to go back and coach at my old high school, and I'm friends with a lot of them. So how do you go from that like friend level to gain like their respect as a head coach?
I think you gotta go in day one. I think you have to go in day one and just, you don't have to go in there like all like puffed up, you know, making that line known, but they gotta know that you're not their friend. You know, I'm in a different role, it's a different level, and we're gonna have respect on both ends. I'm gonna respect you, and you have respect, you know, for me. And you know, players, they're gonna try to push the line. You know how y'all do. You know, they're gonna try to push the envelope. You know, but as long as you are fair, and one thing, okay, let's unpack that for a minute. A lot of people, especially like older generations, it's everybody's got to be treated equally. I disagree with that. It's equal. It's fair versus equal. Everybody's not equal. So you don't treat them all the same way. You treat them fairly, but you don't treat them all the same way. So I think that's, especially in high school, if you're gonna coach a girls team, I think that's something that you gotta lay down the law like immediately. Like, I'm gonna treat you guys fairly, but not necessarily the exact same, because they're not gonna be the same. And you know, Susie over here may need this thing, and then Rebecca may need this thing. You know what I'm saying? You can't treat them the same because they need different things.
And let's support that biblically. The parable of the talents or the parable of the 10 minas, the master handed out an unequal amount of talents.
1, 5, and 10.
Yeah, the parable of 10 minas is the same thing. Also, when Jesus selected disciples, he selected 12, but he spent the most time with 3, and then he spent the most time with the beloved disciples of 1. So even his time commitment was spread accordingly. If you go to 1 Corinthians 12 or 13, Romans 12, the Lord dispenses spiritual gifts as he wills.
Yes.
Some will get more than others. There's always going to be a sense of inequity, but to the master, that's fair because the master makes the decision. So to the coach, what you deem as fair is fair. There will be inequities there, yes, but it's always going to be fair because you decide it's fair.
And everybody's, and let's just say you guys are containers, everybody's container is different. The size of your container is different. Some people can hold more than others. So if you have a big container, you gotta pour more. If you got a smaller one, you don't have to pour as much, you know? So, and for you guys, the class is mostly male today, and I know we're talking about female. But even your children, they're different. I got a 15-year-old and I got a 3-year-old. Yeah, me and my wife hit the rewind button big time. But I can't treat my 3-year-old the same way as I treat my 15-year-old. You know, so they just need different things. You know, through relationship, you know what they need, and then you get them what they need. Any other questions? Okay, let me ask you guys. How do you guys coaching, how do you like to interact with your coaches?
It's nice to have like a personal relationship with them and talk about anything.
So you're a relationship guy?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I like to feel, I mean,
Want it?
yeah, like, I like to feel comfortable around my coaches, and if you are comfortable, you can go up and say anything, you can ask them any question, or even speak your own mind if you think they're wrong.
Yeah.
So,
How about you guys? I know you've been on teams before. What do you think?
I like to do stuff like outside of the sport with the coach. Like not related to the sport.
Yeah. So one of the things that we did with our kids at the end of the year, we took them to Topgolf. We took them to Topgolf. Hey, y'all play as much as y'all want. We got the food, we got the games, you know, whatever you wanna do. That's how we do things. That's how we do things. That's how we do things. Alright, so bottom line, we make it about the kids, man. It's about them and their dreams and their goals. You know, you pour into that, they're gonna give you what they got. So we really make it about them. I know I'm gonna get a phone call or a text from Farrington or Coach Duncan or Coach Robbins and Landon and his crew. Hey, what you around there telling our kids? Look, we make it about them, man. We really do. We really do. We really do.
Well, there's a difference between having 100.
I was about to say, we have about 45.
Versus a cross-country team that have 12. I mean,
It is, but you gotta know your team and you gotta know what works. You gotta know what works.
a lot of coaching is developing my coaching style, my coaching philosophies, understanding how I want to coach or not coach, how that's perceived or received.
Yep. Yep. And I ask our kids all the time, are we coaching you the way you wanna be coached? I ask recruits, are we recruiting you the way you wanna be recruited? Some people don't wanna be on the phone. Some people wanna text. Some people wanna hit you on social media.
Are like the athletes or recruits, when you ask them that, are they pretty much honest? Or-
They'll be honest with you. They'll be honest with you. And if they're kinda hesitant at first, the more you interact with them, then you start to pick up on what they like. You gotta be in tune about what they like, what works for them. If you call them and they don't pick up the phone, but they text you right back, okay, I gotta text them. You know, or if you hit them, sometimes I hit kids, I might be walking around Walmart or walking around the mall or wherever, I'll hit them on FaceTime. Oh, what's going on, coach? You know what I'm saying? And they wanna keep that interaction, you know, and then they'll start, you know you got them when they start FaceTiming you or start calling you, then you got them. What other questions we got? But yeah, so, long story short, I think you just have to set the expectation. They gotta know that you're there for them as a resource, and you're there for them to get better, not only basketball players, softball, whatever it is, but as a person, but also that, we're in it together, but I'm over here and you're over there, and not like, not in a super separate way, but there is a line, and you know, I can love on you, but I can't be your friend. You know, we can't go get our petties and manis and stuff together. You know, you have to go your way, go with your teammates, and I gotta go over here. Yes,
Give
sir.
us an example of when you had to dismiss somebody from the program, maybe some of the thought process that went into weighing that out. And then contrast that with maybe bringing on a walk-on, somebody you've never looked at, you didn't recruit, you didn't have any money for. So you're dismissing somebody or you're bringing on a walk-on.
Okay.
What are your thought process?
I'll start with the walk-on first. For me, a walk-on is somebody that is gonna be about the program, and they understand that, they understand where they are. You have to understand where you are. If you're willing to work, there are no guaranteed opportunities for you, but if you wanna be around a great program, if you wanna be around great coaching, and a relational person, you know, this is a place for you. Now, you can grow, and you might, as your career goes on, get some opportunity, but you gotta know up front kind of where you are and where you stand, right? So I think those kind of conversations up front, you gotta have those kind of conversations. Even on your current team, roles and responsibilities, I think you have to have those conversations before you ever play in a game, in a season, to know what's expected and what you're asking them to do. In terms of getting rid of a kid, my first year, I had to before the season even started. You know, we're gonna live, our core values drive our culture, and we're gonna do those different things. And if you can't, and we don't, like I said, we don't have a big rule book. You know, we got 4 or 5 things that are standards and expectations, and they're pretty simple. And if you can't do those things, you can't be here. You know, it's just like a job. You can't come in on time. You can't be respectful to, you know, the people you work with, your boss. You can't get things done. What you here for? You know, it's a hard thing. It sounds hard, but you guys are, who are seniors and juniors in here? You're a senior. Oh, most of the class. Y'all getting ready to be adulting in about 6-7 months. You know, and if you can't come in and get things done and do it in the right way, you won't be there for long. You know, and I know we're at NGU, and I know this is a grace-filled place, and I get that, but you just gotta know that when you go out into the real world, or when you go out into the everyday situations, you know, there's gonna be some expectations of you. You know, Dr. Briggs can't teach 9 classes if he's gonna be late, if he can't turn his stuff in, if he can't get accreditations right, he can't be here. So it's gonna be the same thing expected of you guys. You got anything?
Why do you coach women's instead of men's basketball?
Man, that's a great question, because I actually started on the men's side. And when I did that, I wanted to get my master's, and I wanted to try to get my master's as soon as possible, so I could, you know, Kelvin Long had in his mind what he wanted to do, but the Lord kind of had something different for me. So trying to get my master's at East Tennessee State, the men's side wasn't really working out the way I thought, the way I planned. So man, I walked into the coach on the women's side, I walked into their office. I had never met them a day in my life. I had never spoken to them. Their door was like standing wide open. I just walked in there and I was like, hey, I want to help out as much as possible. I'll do whatever. And they was like, yeah, come on. So that's kind of how it started for me. And we had so much success like quickly, and we had good players, and I was around good people, so I just stuck with it, man. And the Lord actually had me to find my niche, and I'm grateful. I've been able to build a pretty decent career with it, and I've met a lot of great people, been a lot of great places. You know, the Lord is just blessing me through it, man. So that's kind of how I did it. Now, would I go back to the men's side?
No.
I don't know. But you know, on the women's side, there's some challenges. You know, the way you interact with them, the way you talk to them, you know, the way you deal with different things, you know, it's different. It's a challenge, and I love it. It helps me to be a better parent too. Parenting helps me be a better coach, and coaching helps me to be a better parent, for sure. You got anything?
I got nothing, man.
No? I appreciate you guys.
I'll just make a recommendation. So, we have a group of young men and women here
Yep.
who want to be future coaches. Organizations they should join, things they should read about, how should they pray. What are your suggestions for the next generation of coaches?
Pray first, pray a lot, pray all the time. Definitely, whatever decision you decide to make, whether to get into coaching or not get into coaching, what coaching job you take, bathe that thing in prayer, for sure. That'd be the first thing I would say, is bathe it in prayer. And then, reading material. One of the best reads I could give you is Lead for God's Sake. That's a really good one. That works in any discipline, works in any profession. And then John Gordon is a big leadership person. read any of his stuff. Energy Bus, Stick Together, No Complain Rule, anything by John Gordon is a really good read. And then, if you wanna get involved, man, if you wanna go get your master's, go to a place that's gonna allow you to do some things, that's gonna allow you to have some responsibility early, so you can get, like, you don't wanna go to a place where you're just sitting over there statting all day. You know, if you can get in the field and do some different things, that's probably the way to go. So lean on your coaches, your high school coach, youth coach, your college coaches, cause coaches talk, and that's how opportunities come up. You know, before they ever post on Indeed.com or the NCAA website, you know, your coaches, they're gonna know about it first. Hey, I need a defensive backs coach. I need a tight ends coach. Man, I need somebody who can work with my infield guys. Or I need a young gun to come in and be my video coordinator. You know, they'll know those opportunities before they ever hit the internet. So just use your resources, man. Your coaches should be some of your biggest resources, you know, for information. And if they're not doing it the right way. But no, I appreciate you guys allowing me to come to your class and speak and spend some time with you. I'm over in Hayes Gym. I'm always out on campus getting lunch, Chick-fil-A, you know, Diamond Hall, whatever. Man, stop me if you got questions, or you want somebody to pray with you, or whatever it is. Stop me, man. I'm relational, and it's not just about our team. It's about the whole entire campus. This is a small plug. I'm probably gonna start a Bible study at some point this semester. So if you guys just wanna come and share, you know, whatever it is, man, just stop me. I'm available.
And you're looking for another team manager, maybe we can help you out.
Yes, if anybody wants to get some good hands-on experience doing some different things, we have a manager spot that we're looking for. If you guys aren't interested, maybe your friends through, you know, conversation, my email is on the website. Tell them to come by the gym or hit me up via email, and you know, we'll get them plugged in.
Okay, Coach, thank you for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you guys. Good luck to you guys. Congratulations already to the seniors on graduation, and I hope you guys land the jobs that you want.
Excellent. We'll be back here in 2 weeks for our next presentation.